Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of No Limits. Yes, Monday night. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I know I'm certainly trying to do everything I can to. I'm anything but a stationary target, though I have to admit, before I went on basketbros yesterday, I did a little bit of chillaxing. Probably had to do it because of what we've been doing. I had a Rams game on Saturday. So I want everybody to know that the audio version of No Limits can be heard on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, please hit the red subscribe button on South Florida Tribune YouTube. We're striving for 1,000 subscribers. Please also comment, like, and share the broadcast. Want to be a guest? No problem. Participate in the chat room is one way to get you there. And the other way is send topic ideas to southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you want to advertise cost efficiently, no problem. Give me a call, 954-304-4941. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, no problem. At Tribune South Gets It Done. Also, our website is www.southfloridatribune.com. Kudos to Candy Ebling for the dynamite job. Then she goes ahead and putting it all together in more ways than one. And I want to welcome to No Limits tonight, Jacob Christner. Let me give you a little information about Jacob. He brought me on Pundit's Views before, and now I have an opportunity to turn the tables on my colleague here. And welcome to No Limits, Jacob.
Thank you. This is and I'm not kidding you, after these last few years and stuff like that, being on different shows, you are the 15th show I've been on.
Well, very good. Well, so I may be the 15th show you've been on, but I got news for you. You and I work together on a whole lot more than that, but it's
That's true there.
Any opportunity I have to bring a colleague on, I'll do everything I can. And it's safe to say, you know, where you stand with me at this particular point.
Hey, I appreciate it. You know, it's fun. It's been fun, you know.
All right. Well, with that said, let's get this bad boy going here. Let me a little background on yourself, Jacob.
From Quincy, Illinois, small little town near St. Louis. It's South Central Illinois. It's about 2 hours from St. Louis. I was forever the Bears fan and Cubs fan. Don't know. I mean, if you ever look at Quincy, it's 50-50 St. Louis and Chicago, so it could have been a flip of the coin either way. So I became the Cubs fan and the Bears fan. And, well, I know why. I'm trying to understand why I was a Cubs fan. Bears fan is an interesting story. It's because my dad lived in Chicago in 1950 and 51. And he lived with the Bears and the Blackhawks in a hotel one year each year and stuff like that. And got the little stories about partying with the last couple remaining retired Bears and then some of the Blackhawks. So it's kind of cool.
All right. Well, you've been outspoken about this before, but now you have an opportunity to do it again. Okay. First of all, give me your perception of the media.
Oh, Lord.
Well, you think I'm going to be easy on you?
Oh, yeah. This is easy. No, the media, I think, lies. I think they lie a ton. I think my big thing about it is the fact that the media was once the loss leader of a television station. And since it is not the television station anymore, it is now a show. Where the show gets advertisers, and the advertisers brings money, which means they want to make it more of a show. And I really believe that I don't think you can make it a loss leader anymore just because there's more streaming involved. But I do have a belief that the media definitely needs to get back to its truth, which there are some places, like I listen on the radio, that are trying a little more. CNN did try with the whole thing with the Trump deal. You know what I'm saying? They were working on that. Chris Light was trying that.
Right.
And they were trying those things. And I heard one from WSB the other night here in Atlanta. Some are trying, but then there's others that still need to be reminded.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. I know that I love it when we talk on Pundit that you go out there and have shown your distaste for the media. But then again, nowadays, a lot of people do. And at times it gets a bad rap because you have some bad eggs out there that make it hard for a lot of us traditionalists. So,
well, I mean, you showed me Frank Reynolds, and so it makes me give a distaste even more. The biggest issue is the fact that when we get lies, we get divide. And when we get the divide, then it's going to cause more wars. We're not trying. Think of Inherit the Wind, the movie.
Right.
Think of Inherit the Wind, the movie. It's like where Henry Drummond is not trying to change anybody's mind about being with God. He's just trying to give somebody the freedom that they don't want to be. And it's like you need to give everybody the freedom to have the belief, but when you have a media that tries to tell you how to think, and I'm talking both. Fox will do it, CNN will do it, MSNBC will do it. You're telling them how to think instead of what to think.
Well, I love the fact that you brought up Frank Reynolds, a guy that I've idolized in the news business, because the thing I remember, and I don't care what age you are, some things, if you're in an industry, you pay attention to influential people. But during the Reagan assassination, I remember Frank Reynolds blowing a gasket. Say, and you've seen the YouTube thing. I mean, there's a guy that didn't care about being first, just get it right. I mean, that, and I worked for WSVN many years ago out in Miami, and we were the first sportscast on. Okay, Jacob.
Yeah.
Now I was always getting stuff beating the other channel. That was gratifying for me. But because you know what, it's about hard work is really what is and how you deliver the message, and that's really what separates a lot of things in this industry. But to me, Frank, that's okay. Frank Reynolds to me is the ultimate pro.
Well, absolutely. And you talk about not wanting to get it, not wanting to just get it first, but to get it right. See, and I'll tell you this: as a kid, I've never thought. I mean, I've always been competitive, but I've always kind of wanted to finish everything I've done. Like when you're a kid, you have the video games. Right. I remember even then, I would play a video game 6 months after it was taboo. You know, like people were playing it, and then they would use the little cheat codes and the magazines to go figure it out. Then it was over, but I was still playing it because I never looked at those things. Right. I never looked at those things to learn, so I'm losing 100,000 times until I finally figure it out and I get it. But by that time, it was well past its shelf life to the people. But that's what I've always been. It's like, I want it right. In this whole life and what we're doing is why I'm doing media here right now. It's why I do Pundits Pundit. You're on with me. Right. It's why I do Pundits Pundit is I want us talking the truth. And that means, guess what? Conservative or liberal. It means everybody. It just means, whatever philosophy there is. It's like both of them are going to be mad and both of them are going to be happy. And it's like, but that's the way media is supposed to be.
Okay, let's talk about something that you're actively involved with, the entertainment business. So I know this is something that's very dear to you. Tell me exactly what you do and why you're doing it.
You're talking about for Sideline Sports or as an actor? Because I've been an actor too, you know. So
well, yeah, we'll talk about that part. We're going to get to Sideline Sports shortly.
I did Sideline. See, I did. I was living with my brother at the time. I was calling it the Pundit's Pundit, but it was called it Pundit, the Pundit Points. And I was downstairs, and I would come up with something. It would be like the very first one was, how does the media choose who to hate? And it was during the time that Mitchell Trubisky was on the Bears, and you see the media making up some lies with him. He's not a Hall of Famer, but they would make up some lies saying he couldn't throw a ball this way or that way. Well, follow that way, you get it to and you get it to Justin Fields right now. Then they'll say he's going to be one of the top 5, even though he literally doesn't even have 600 career throws in 2 years. He doesn't have 60% throwing. He doesn't have all that stuff, but he's going to be a hero and a Hall of Famer. How do they choose who to hate and who to like? And that was my very first pundit point. And so I just kept going to about 64 of these things. And then I got on the side, about 10 of them in. I got on Journey with the Jays, which is now Sideline Sports. I got on their show, and then they wanted me on the network. So that's how it started.
Very good. Okay. Well, with that said, okay, let's talk about Sideline Sports, and let's reiterate. How did you get to Sideline Sports?
Well, I was on a show when I was doing that. One of our founders, JB, found me, and he wanted to have me on for the show because I was taking somebody's place that night. It was called Journey with the Jays, and I'm a Jay. Right. So I got on the show, and then they liked how I did. And here's the funny part: it's the only time I was on that show. But no big deal though, because I've got a lot of these. But it was like it was very cool to get a start. And then what I wanted to see when I started Pundit, I had 2 different times where I was trying a basic idea of, like Colin Cowherd's. It's like he kind of go alone. He talks all the time. Problem was I kept going to like 100-hour, 47 minutes, which you can't get advertisers that way. You can't get, all that stuff. You need somebody to kind of, remind you, a producer and everything. Right. Then I found my original producer, Jen, who I miss. Hello, Jen, I miss you dearly. And she was my start, and now Jay is. And it's like, and they keep me in line. I know darn good well how long I could talk. So it's like, but it started out with just sports, and then we got onto an important conversation, like in the second episode, and it's gone from there. It's the idea I like to call it a more advanced version of Outside the Lines without the production credits, without the production values. You know what I'm saying? We go into things a lot of people don't want to talk about in deep form.
All right, so let's first of all talk about basketbros. I joined you guys. It's been fun for me. Sometimes at times it can be taxing for me on a Sunday night because I'm in the field a lot. But when I get on, I truly enjoy the show.
Oh,
but
sure.
what led to the creation of basketbros?
Well, I was asked to be able to come on, and I was the third one, and we were looking for a fourth. And then there was Will, and the thing about Will that I noticed is he had a lot of knowledge of this era, like 2007 to go up, 2004 to go up. You know what I'm saying? Real knowledge. And I will absolutely admit this. I have the knowledge, but I also spent a lot of years trying to learn other subjects outside of sports.
Right.
So my knowledge was because I can absorb it so quickly, but he would watch every little minute of the action, just like I did with the Cubs all those years. Right. So he can really give you an idea of a reminder. So I wanted Will on that show. There's no question. But basketbros was there just because there's a lot to talk about in this world and world of basketball. And there are certain things in basketball we'd like to see back.
Right. Yeah, the one thing about Will Vogel that I've known, and he's asked me to take him under his wing, I advise him the best that I can. He's young. He's up and coming. Obviously, he'll calm down in time. But the one thing about this guy is his knowledge and research is off the planet. It really is.
Oh, it really is. And well, here's the thing with Will. This is the thing. I know he'll calm down because I did. Because I was a bit like Will when I first started going out. I was in a movie. Right. I'll just give this story. I was in a movie, like on one of my first movies a little while back, and one of my, and I'll say this, one of my my co-stars were during this movie, and I'm not going to say the movie's name, but the co-stars were the Blue Meanie and Jasmine St. Clair, the porn star. Right. And it was like, and they were very, 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 very nice to me. Very nice. So no issue at all. Very cool people. But I was so immature because I was kind of sheltered in life to knowing anything. So I talked a lot, wanted to just kind of chuckled and laughed a lot and stuff like that. And so, of course, there was a little bit of judgment to me just because I was kind of sheltered. But then life kind of get in the way and I grew up. Guess what? Will also. And Will has a lot of energy and he's going to make great things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jay Nelson / Denzel Snipes, cool as you can get. And Jennifer Matthews Lewis, she's an up and comer. She's working really hard. And then the list goes on. Now, we can talk about all the sideline sports people. Jordan Long's another guy who has a tremendous upside, too. And
Jordan takes voracious notes, which I don't do. I got to learn that.
But the reason why he's a hardcore journalist, that's why.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a hardcore journalist, you expect a guy like him to take a lot of notes.
Yeah, that's true.
He's with me on 108 Stitches Baseball Talk, and I tell you, I noticed lately his enthusiasm has peaked up a little because he likes to see what different guests come on every week.
Mm-hmm.
And I got news for you. I'm bringing this guy on as often as he wants to come on. So I will transition over to Pundit's Pundit, a show that I've been telling JBL the one thing about our business model, as evidenced by No Limits tonight, is I'm like you. I want to get in and out of my comfort zone with sports, whether it's Real in the Rare, No Limits, and other shows that I have, South Florida Tribune podcast, and there'll be other ones coming up. So let's talk about the idea to do Pundit's Pundit.
Like I said, the Pundit's Pundit came from when I just liked the name originally. The idea of it is to call out pundits, not just call out sports, not just call out things. It's calling out pundits and journalists because a lot of them you will see, for instance, if you see like Skip Bayless, you had Shannon, now it's not going to be them anymore. But if you see Skip Bayless, it's like there's an opposite viewpoint, no matter how stupid it may be. JJ Redick goes there sometimes. You couldn't be this dumb. Like they'll say, not saying they're dumb. I'm saying the opinion that they'll have on something just sounds like something that a producer would tell you to say without a script. And those are the things. That's what me, Pundit's Pundit, I'm calling them out. All I want is I just want truths. If it's 4 truths, if it's 4 at a panel, if it's people asking questions, if it's people debating, that's all I want. And that's where Pundit's Pundit comes into play. I want Pundit's Pundit to be the next kind of thing. I wanted to, if I could put a dent before I pass away one day, hopefully 56 more years, hopefully 56 more years. But if I hope I would put a dent into an idea of media where we start asking questions and we start getting the true answer. That's not so much entertainment anymore, because there's enough entertainment out there. Movies, there's going to be more and more movies when the independents get bigger. And all that kind of stuff. We're going to have all the entertainment. We don't need entertainment with news. We need news and we need truth.
Right.
And that's where Pundit's Pundit comes into play. That's why I started in the first place, because I want to call out journalists and pundits. I want them to be honest. I don't want them listening to a producer saying, oh, in this segment, you need to be the opposition, because you could tell they're doing that with some of the stupid things that somebody might say. It doesn't even, I just named names, but you can just tell in certain things. You don't hear it. It's like in certain cases, they'll be like, you should hear an agreement, but nope, I got to have this. It's like, and that's Skip Bayless also.
Yeah, well, people can say what they want about Skip Bayless. The only thing I'll say about the guy is he's been in the business a long time. I'm always for an old school journalist, because I've been in it a long time too.
I think he's a better journalist than a pundit. That's my point.
I agree. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. He was a tremendous
journalist with Dallas Morning News. So it's like tremendous journalist, but then he's played off to the fact that it's like, okay, well, this one needs to be, we need to get ratings. We need to get this. It's like, It's like ratings will come to me. It's like money will come. I think it automatically does. It's like, you got to be honest.
Yeah, I often think that, to me, Pundit's Pundit gives me a little feel for 60 Minutes and 2020, because I think that gives you a lot of variety what tough topics are. And here you go, Will. Obviously, hello,
hey, Will. How's it going?
Glad you can tune us in tonight. And obviously, we have nothing but positive things to say about you all tonight. But really, it's not positive out of you. It's just positive in a sense where it's professional. Because I can't sugarcoat anything like that. So, all right. So let's talk about the spinoff. Okay, Pundit's Views. What came of that?
Well, I wanted to do one-on-one interviews, and one of the things that was happening was the fact that there are people like, there's one that I want to have on someday, Dan Severn, the old fighter.
Okay.
But I would come up with the idea of pundits, and then I'm going to keep working on it. There's idea. He and I talked on an email, and there's something he wants me to, in return. And there's not important right now. If it works out, it does. But good guy though. But the whole point of it was, I originally asked him to go on Pundit's Pundit, but what time could you actually do it? Because we're on topics, and the topics are important. And we go, how do you do? And then you don't want to shove them off at the 10-minute mark. Right. If it's a special guest. So then I came up with, I wanted to get Pundit Views, because I like the Pundit name. I think it's a great brand. And I wanted to start getting these people that I was starting to ask, but I never had time. So that's where the interviews came from. And it's like, I need practice interviewing anyway. It's like I'm more of a topic and listening guy. And someone like Jordan is the better interviewer than I am, but I feel like I'm pretty good.
Well, again, you can't compare your background with Jordan, though. This guy's a full-fledged journalist who interviews people all the time. You, on the other hand, have a lot of different qualities that most people don't have. So all you guys have just a set of different styles. So with that said, I got to ask you, how many bad habits have I taught you?
I don't drink Mountain Dew.
That's good.
Well, no, you and George, I've said this 1,000 times. You and George Eichhorn are definitely, I consider you my mentors. There's no question, and it's like, and it's like you're two old school journalists.
Right.
And I want to see, mind you, we can't get the old school back because, like, for instance, you're not going to have a smoke-filled newsroom. You won't have a smoke-filled newsroom anymore, and you won't have a typewriter anymore doing this while, you're not going to have those. It's fun to, I'm going to show you a video someday with Frank Reynolds. It's really cool. They show like the old back tape of what's going on, like in a newsroom. And all you could hear, it was like during ads and during things, all you hear is click, 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 clack, clack, clack. There's smoke all over the room. People running around like crazy. And there's Frank Reynolds. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it was like smoky and it's all that stuff. And then he's getting himself ready. There's cussing in the whole room, people screaming. And I'm like, see, you won't get those anymore because every technology's made everything like easier in a certain way. So you're not going to get that. But you can still have truth. You can still have honesty, and it's like, I like the idea that a Jemele Hill was kicked out and then her career is kind of cooked. I kind of like it. I don't care what her mindset is and what her philosophy is. That's a show in itself. My whole thing is she's not being honest, and I want to see, no matter what, guess what? Tucker Carlson, everything. If you are putting on a show and you're not being honest, I don't want you there.
Right. Oh, yeah. Hey, Will, I got to tell you something, pal, and don't take this the wrong way. If you ever drink Mountain Dew, although in your part you have Sundrop, then I will definitely tell you, my friend, you will definitely be considered a pogo stick in my eyes because you'd be jumping all over the place. I know about Sundrop.
He does anyway.
Huh?
He does anyway. Jumps
well,
all over the
I know.
place.
So don't take it personally, Will, okay? But if you're drinking Mountain Dew and Sundrop, then I'll know in my mind that you are a pogo stick, and don't take it the wrong way. Don't get sensitive. It's all part of the fun anyways. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's ride with this guy for a little bit before we get on to the last few topics. All right.
Yeah.
This is a piece of respect. That's why I love keeping him in our system. We try to be mentors to this guy. But we try. George and I and Jeremy are my mentors. Really nice of these days. I used to call you pogo stick, Will, but you know what? I didn't want to go ahead and make you feel uncomfortable. That's why I backed off. But if you're talking Mountain Dew, we're only talking about it on this show. It won't anything repeated, but I didn't want to. If you weren't comfortable, I don't go ahead and call anybody if they're not comfortable. When you start mentioning Mountain Dew, then we'll put it out there and let everybody laugh a little bit and go ahead and think with that. All right.
And real quickly with what you were asking about the things, there wouldn't be a lot of people I would even consider mentors, considering what they were. The closest in one time, like, I'm not going to say they was a mentor. I never met the guy. But at one time would have been a legitimate journalist, would have been Dan Rather. Then he pulled that stunt with Bush. Yeah. And it's like, we're pulling stunts because we have personally involved. I've said 1,000 times about Trump, if you're going to get Trump, you can't have a skin in the game. You can't have hate for the guy. You can't have any of that stuff. I put that on that letter to your to the South Florida Tribune, to the Tribune. Right. I put that in a letter to all journalism. I wrote this to the South Florida Tribune. I said to all journalism students, it's like, you want to go get Trump. Number one, you don't have hate for the guy. Number two, realize he's human, a narcissistic human, a narcissistic human, an arrogant human, but a human nonetheless. You got to start there. And those are the things that I talk about, but we're going after hate and we're going after good guy, bad guy in pro wrestling, and we can't be doing that.
All right, let's have a little fun with Will's comments because I think they're pretty funny, actually. I love movies that depict old school journalists with typewriter smokers and guys in suits. Let's go to the other one here, and then I'm going to put a little something out there. Love old school journalists. Yeah. So, Jacob, have you ever seen the movie called Broadcast News?
Yes.
Or
my brother got my brother. Well, it was great. My brother got me. My brother actually, my brother got me onto that. I probably watched that when I was like 10, 12 years, maybe 10, 12 years old or something like that, maybe 13. He loves movies like that. See, I will give you an example. My brother's entertainment was all very, very back in the day. Now imagine he's 6.5 years older than me, so we're different personalities. His entertainment was very, very, very lawyers, doctors. I mean, he was a St. Elsewhere fan. He was a big time St. Elsewhere fan. He was a LA Law fan. He loved everybody that used their mind, everybody that could talk, everybody that can be able to negotiate. He loved all that. Me, I was Mike Hammer. Jake and the Fat Man. I was all, run through a wall, beat people up. It was pretty mindless. You know what I'm saying? But but the biggest thing about it is but every once in a while he brings some stuff home, broadcast news, Wall Street, those types whatsoever. So yeah, it's like, I mean, I have seen it since then. You don't understand it when you're the certain age that you were, but right now, it just harkens back to the old time. It's like, you look at those things, and same as, what was that Robert Redford movie about the, let's see, Robert Redford and, let's see, it was about, I'm trying to think for a second. It was about, Watergate.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, I forget for a second.
I'm trying to remember.
It's like, well, no, see,
is it All the President's Men, maybe?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's like about, you're right. It's like Watergate. And it was about that. Right. And it's like, remember, they were you got to remember, they were in that newspaper thing. They were pecking out, and they were they were grinding. You see, watching those old school, it's grinding. It's grinding, and it's working hard to go get because you have to go to a library for the old school, the superfiche. You remember the fiche?
Not really.
No. When you go to a library and you're looking through for the newspapers, the old.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Boy,
the microfiche.
We're exposing my gray hair, man. The last time I was in a library.
Mine too. But no, the microfiche. You look through those, and it's like that's what they had to do to go get work to be able to get. Look back in the day, they were doing jobs. It is so easy now. That is the point, and it's because it's easy, you get lazy. That's when you become a show.
Well, you got to bring that up. We're crying out loud. I work at the Tampa Tribune. Used to look at it there. When I was at University of South Florida back in 1986, I lived in the library to do research papers. All right, let's move on to something else. Okay, I've enjoyed the fact that you and I are colleagues. So, let's talk about our relationship on the air and what we try to get from one another.
Oh yeah. Well, you become the pogo stick with the Mountain Dew, but it's like But the thing is, you have a thing called great minds think alike. The great minds think alike, and once in a while we'll disagree, but there's nothing personal with it. It's just, but that's the whole point of pundits. Most of the time, we all agree with each other. I will admit that. But again, we're not trying to go for ratings. We're not trying to go for anything. We're going for a subject, and to add the main thing about pundits is we're asking questions to each other about that whatsoever. And it's like we're not here to fight, cause chaos, any of that. But it's like that's the one thing that we have is the fact that what we're going for with Pundit is an old school journalism. It's like, remember, these are topics that you do not see mind you might see it in like a column somewhere. Something that we talk about here, might see it in a column somewhere, but you don't see it a whole lot, depending. Like, we're going to have one on Wednesday night. It's about the fastest girl in Connecticut suing because transgenders beat her in races, and she's suing the state of Connecticut. Guess what? You want to know where you see these? Breitbart.
Right.
You see these on Fox. You see these on a couple other conservative view network, whatever. Right. That has no business doing that, being hidden from. Right. They're hidden. Those type of things are either hidden from in the what's called the liberal side. You know what I'm saying? It's either hidden. Or if it's not, then it's just like they're not being taken seriously. It's a story.
Right.
We got to quit it. We got to quit having agendas.
Hey, Jacob, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think I really give a darn if somebody disagrees with me?
No, of course not.
Why?
Oh, you're like me. You're like me. That's exactly. And hey, you want to patent GMTA? You might as well. Put a hashtag behind it.
Hey, Will, I got to tell you, after what I had to do to go ahead and get the trademark for the Motor City Madmouth, I hope I'm alive to be able to patent GMTA, but I'm going to use it anyways until somebody tells me I can't. But I love your thinking, Will.
You didn't have to. Here's the thing about the Motor City Madmouth. You don't have to worry about me taking it. I'm not from the Motor City.
That's true. Oh, well, I have actually ordered some hats for it, so it'll be pretty good when I ultimately put them on here. I don't know. They should be here in a few weeks. I'll be having them out there as well. All right, a couple of things I want to get to you. All right, tough question. Maybe it isn't for you, Jacob. Goals for the future.
What? Goals for the future? Oh, what? For one thing, I'm a trained actor, so I'd like to be able to get myself back in. I've actually started doing a little bit of the auditions again. Doing a couple on the online auditions, which is good starts again, and I want to get myself get my training back. I'd like to be able to get myself back into martial arts, but because my body moves a lot better now to do this. So I want to get back. I want to get back into things that I survived when I was younger.
Okay.
See, this is the point. I'll be 45 August 24th. There's one thing I say to myself at that age is I don't think I'm old. But the one thing I think I'm matured and I think I've learned. And the biggest thing I want to do is I want to get back into things that I survived, not thrived.
Right.
And I know I will thrive next time. So that's why I want to get in. And as far as I want to take Pundit's Pundit to the next level. I mean, take it to a brand. You know what I'm saying? Make it a whole brand. It can go. I would love to be the next Pat McAfee.
Okay.
In that way, fair. In the fact that Pat McAfee in the way, or see, Pat McAfee has conversation, but it's more meathead sports, which is fine. That's a lot of people. But I'd love to be the Pat McAfee meets 60 Minutes, meets 2020. You know what I'm saying? Let's get real here. Let's get some real stuff. And I'd love to be able to know that. And I'd like to be able to call out liars. Just like this is the way I do things.
Hey, listen, Jacob, it's about finding your niche. And when you find something that really hit on, just go there and take it as far as you can. Last thing, our final thing here, anything else or final thoughts about what you want to do? Lay it out there. You have one opportunity to spill the beans and let them go.
Well, yeah. One of the things I'm going to make sure to do is just continue to add more hours. That I am doing right now to on Sideline Sports. I have a lot. I probably now with I've done 2.5, 3 years. I'm nearing over. I'm part of 6 shows. Part of 6 shows. So it's like I'm probably nearing, if not over 1,000 hours of screen time. I'd love to get to the 10,000 hour mark, but that'll take a while. But those are I would love to be able to do something like that. I also want to be able to get published I'm already published in 2 publications. I want to get more of those. Maybe I can be able to get paid on Substack, maybe of those. Just get the Pundit's Pundit name out there, and then get Jacob Christner as an actor out there, as a producer out there. So just keep working. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, thankfully we've been able to get you up a few more times, and we'll bring you up as often as we can. There's no doubt about it. Hello, Jeremy. How you doing? And we'll love to see you be able to get basketbros to grow more and more. But let me give you a little.
Where's Jeremy at?
What's that?
Jeremy, you said Jeremy's on?
Well, yeah, he's in the chat room. But you know what? Well, let me give you a little tip. And I think Jacob and I could probably agree on this. Try to work on getting on Twitter and LinkedIn, and that'll be a step in the right direction for you to take basketbros to another level. And you know what? So you're on the right track. And now we got Jeremy in here. So hello, gentlemen. Hello, Jeremy. You're going to be very busy.
What's up? Hey, the Jeremy question. Are you going to change kneecap biting when Campbell's fired one day?
That's funny.
No, but here's the thing, Will. Here's the one big thing with this is I don't worry about you, to be truthful, because by itself, something in life, you're just going to grow. Some people grow up later, some people grow up sooner. You know what I'm saying? But I get you better than most because I was there. I'll tell you what made me grow up, living in hotels for 7 months, living in hotels and nothing but hotels, being this close to homelessness about 3/4 of the time. Having a day doing what's a good thing to say? Doing day labor, as I did one day on a logging crew. I did a bunch of moving labor. Right. I was a power washer for one day. I mean, just to make $150, $200, and that's another day. Just get some gas money. That will make you grow up fast. It's like I was kind of sheltered in life before, and I didn't realize it. But that will make you grow up very, very fast.
All right. Well, I know you're active tonight, so I'm glad you are. And I will definitely agree with Jeremy that you won't be fired anytime.
I know he won't. I love the guy.
No,
I just meant.
You know what?
The guy. Go ahead.
Well, I got to tell you, you are growing on me a little. I don't know what that means, but you're still growing on me. Okay.
See, but you have to shave. Yeah.
You'll get one of the few no comments out me, but
right. Good. No, I know he won't be fired. I love the guy, but I was just saying whatsoever. The kneecap biting's all him, so I just wonder.
Well, Will Vogel won't be fired out anytime soon, only because of the fact that, he's got a tremendous upside. Now, as for Jeremy, well, I'll tell you, this guy's made a whole lot of progress in my systems. He's had to stay in hotels in his car for months. He's proud of that. But no, I grew up a lot. You know what? I think, Jeremy, everybody's grown up a lot in a lot of their own different ways. So you're just like a lot of us. But you know what? I should probably be thrown in jail for grand larceny, but I stole.
Yeah, you stole me. You stole me away from Sideline. Just kidding.
Yeah, hardly. No, Sideline's good. But I did snap up Jeremy B from a place called the Empire Sports Network, and I got kicked out of their group. So they were afraid I was a real piece of competition. I'm probably right, but hey, when I get this guy on my team, then as Gene Hackman would say in the movie Hoosiers, I apologize for nothing. Don't frankly.
And he has a really good Howard Finkel and Gene Okerlund look when he doesn't have a hat on.
Yeah, we're working on smoking Jeremy B's hat attire as well. But no, it's just been fun talking to you tonight, Jacob. You and I are, like I said, folks, Jacob and I appear on basketbros as well as Pundit, and he had me on a show one time, Pundit's View. It was a lot of fun. So it's kind of neat to turn the table on this guy. It really is. And
I love getting interviewed. I've been interviewed a few times. It's just one of those things. It's like I like to get the idea out there. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do with this thing.
Interviews are what it's all about. The opportunity to get to know people in the manner that we can. So, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to give Jacob Christner an opportunity to let everybody know how they can find this guy because he's all over the place.
Well, today I was at the Austin Riley the inaugural invitational for veterans. It was a golf tournament. And I was over there for a couple hours, and I got to and I met Clinton Dempsey. Who knows, trying to set something up with that. Met a couple of Maria Martin and forgive me on the thing. I'll take a look at the list in a second. But it's like I met a couple of the very beautiful producers, the reporters from WSB and from 11 Alive and WSB, the Channel 2 News. And I got to meet them, and they were awesome, very polite, very sweet. It's all that. Got to meet Austin himself, and met a few others. I didn't get to see Marquise Grissom though. I wanted to see him.
Right.
Hadn't seen him in a little bit, so. I got to have some fun over there today and met quite a few awesome people. So, and I got to get my name out there, so I was happy. Also on Sunday nights, I'm on the basketbros. Monday nights is Pundit Views. Tuesday nights is off, believe that or not. Wednesday nights is Pundit's Pundit, so it's Sports Exchange with you, right. And then Confidential. Thursday's off, but sometimes, just depending on if we can find the time, I go independent. And I'll go with TJ Sanson do a show called Yin and Yang, which has nothing to do with sports.
Right.
That's a little about psychology, politics, film, theater, because we're both have film and theater interest.
Right.
So we talk different things like that, and nothing about sports whatsoever. She knows nothing. So that we just have to figure a time to be able to get that more consistently. And then Friday nights, I'm on the bench with Gauntlet, but when they call me, I get right in there, So I stay busy all the time, and then I'm also working on movies and ideas.
Yeah, the one guy I really want to give a whole lot of credit to is jbellis. Him and I have gotten to know each other.
Absolutely.
And the two of us, I think, make a really good team, making sure that we can complement Sideline Sports. He does a good job here helping South Florida Tribune, and we work together on social media.
And he smokes enough for the both of you.
He's what?
He smokes enough for the both of you.
That's okay. I'll leave. I'm not touching that one in terms of smoking because I lost my grandfather to lung cancer 50 years ago. So that's one subject I kind of.
I understand. Yeah.
But yeah, no. But JBLS is to me the quarterback behind this relationship growing amongst us. So again, everybody at Sideline's been great. I mean, getting back to Eric Wilson, John Shearer, they're the ones that got me going. And then as I continue to work through the ranks here, now we're in a comfortable situation.
The thing about it, Shearer worked all night. He and them were. I think him and one other were working all night to get the streaming. We have a new streaming deal with Abigail TV. It's Strim.tv. We basically have now at Sideline Sports a 24-hour deal. 24 hours to be able to watch on streaming networks now. So that's the start, and they were working on that all night.
Yeah, but I give John Shearer a lot of credit because when I was a little bit nervous about StreamYard, he brought me on a couple of shows, walked me through it. And once I did it a couple of times, but you got to give somebody credit when you're not sure about something. And John Shearer, Jake Malik, the rest of those guys were really helpful there. I want to point out a couple of other things here as well. What's really important for me as we continue to develop the brand, the thing I really like the most about Sideline Sports, I don't have to cancel shows. I have such a plethora of talent in that group that I'm very thankful that we don't have to cancel. Although nowadays I'll find anybody, but having Sideline around certainly makes me feel a whole lot better for sure. So.
And we have also combined with Let's Talk Sports around out of the UK. So now we have over 200 shows. So it's kind of fun to watch,
All right. So let me go out there and let everybody know earlier, in case you're joining us now, the audio version of No Limits can be heard on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. And be surprised, this show is being broadcast around the world as well. So please hit the red subscribe button on YouTube South Florida Tribune. We're striving for 1,000 subscribers. Please also comment, like, and share the broadcast. Want to be a guest? No problem. Look at the chat room. It's active. That's one way to do it. Also, please send your topic ideas to southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you want to advertise cost efficiently, okay, call myself at 954-304-4941. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter at Tribune South. Our website, again, is www.southfloridatribune.com. And once again, kudos to Candy Ebling. She's a jack of all trades. She comes on shows when we need her, but more importantly, her contribution behind the scenes, developing the website from the ground up, all to what she does on the broadcast is so remarkably unbelievable.
No. Absolutely, positively, she does a lot of work for you. Huge.
Well, I mean, here's a woman that defines the word what Aaron Rodgers says is relaxed, and she's just a cool customer or a cool Candy. And
the opposite of you.
Yeah, believe me, it doesn't take a whole lot to be opposite of me, and I'm not afraid to admit it, but she's definitely. But, with that said, this concludes this edition of No Limits. Once again, my name is Scott Morganroth, Motor City Madmouth. Please be joined by Jacob Christner, Jake the Pundit. And we want to thank everybody. Anything else you want to add, Jacob?
All good. Wonderful night. I enjoy these, and I love getting my brand out there, and I love working with you guys. Love being on the Sports Exchange and everything with South Florida Tribune. And the biggest thing about it is the fact I'm getting more opportunities. I love it, because it's one of those where you wonder where they came from, and it just keeps coming. So I'm happy.
Jacob, the only words of wisdom I could give anybody, as long as you don't burn your bridges and you're in good faith and you show up all the time and you're dependable, that's where the opportunities come. But people are up and down. Roller coaster rides get you a one-way ticket out of our business. So we don't want to be Kyrie Irvings, okay? We don't want to go out there and be talented, but you're not available, because that's the one way that people don't trust you. They don't invite you. And I feel the one thing that you definitely do as well as anybody is you're always there, and I appreciate it. I'm not knocking anybody else. I'm just talking about you.
No, I know that. No, 1,000. You got to realize there's thousands and thousands and thousands of talented people by themselves. Right. Truthfully, this is the thing. If you can go play in one of the video games of this era now, you have a brain, because a lot of these brains, you have to be able to figure puzzles out. You have to be able to do that. And that means you've got that. It means you've got some kind of talent somewhere, even if it's just simply the games. But if you're not there, how do we know?
Exactly. And I'll let you have the last word on that. So I want to thank everybody for joining us on No Limits. Okay. And just want to mention one other thing before I let y'all go. Had another great 2 No Limits shows in past week before this one with Irma Perone from the Coral Springs Coconut Creek Regional Chamber of Commerce, which was a hit. And another one we did on Thursday night called The Sales Bounty Hunter. And this is exactly what I keep telling Jacob and I. You want to have different things, and don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. And all 3 of these shows, by the way, have occurred since the last Thursday. In fact, Irma appeared on The Real and the Rare, which we do use for promoting books. John, The Sales Bounty Hunter, and now you. And this is only going to continue to get bigger and bigger.
Oh, then we're going to enjoy this, for sure. And I'll make sure to get some more, to give some more written content to you real soon.
That sounds like a plan. So meanwhile, one last time, on behalf of Jacob Christner, my name is Scott Morganroth of Motor City Madmouth. Thank you for joining us on this edition of No Limits, and we will catch you the next time.
Great show, bud.